Hey, and good morning, East Texas. I'm Meteorologist Sara Blue. Thank you so much for joining us on the CBS 19 Plus live stream. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about our weather here in East Texas, some of the storms that are happening in the Midwest at the moment, and of course, we'll take a look at the weekend because I know we're all looking forward to Saturday and Sunday. Now, today we are tracking warm and cloudy conditions. If you're stepping outside right now, temperatures are currently sitting in the 70s and 80s. And when I say right now, it's right around 10:50 when we're live on the CBS 19 Plus live stream. 79 in Tyler and in Jacksonville. We've been bouncing back and forth between 79 and 80, so we're going to get there very close. Remember, I said 80 degrees by 11 o'clock today. I think that we will certainly get there. If you were watching the morning show, you probably saw that. 81 in Henderson and 81 in Carthage at the moment. We are tracking quite a few clouds which are streaming across the Piney Woods. A few scattered showers, but those are likely going to fall apart before they make it to Palestine and Crockett. I am tracking a little thunderstorm complex, which is moving along the Red River. That's south of Oklahoma City, and it's going to continue to move off towards Fort Smith. Let me go ahead and put this in play for you. I'm not seeing anything severe with this. There are currently no watches or warnings out for it, but there are a few gusty winds and heavy downpours out there. The other thing that I'm watching is up toward the Great Plains and the Midwest. Right now, if you take your eyes toward North and South Dakota, there is a little storm system that's spinning up there. It's bringing rain to parts of toward northern Minneapolis and Bismarck, as well as parts of South Dakota. A few gusty winds out there as well. Now, as this continues to spin, it's going to continue to move off to the east. That means toward Minneapolis, into parts of Wisconsin, and even maybe Michigan could see some strong to severe storms today. The Storm Prediction Center did place this area in a severe storm outlook. So I'm looking at areas near Chicago, Wisconsin, parts of Michigan, where we could see that level 3 risk of severe weather. That means thunderstorms, hail, and the potential for tornadoes. This is all kind of locked up toward the Midwest and up north. Here in East Texas, we will stay mostly dry today. You may see a drop of rain or two on our windshield, but otherwise we will stay dry. And that's because we're tracking high pressure. You can tell because of the direction that the clouds are arcing. When it makes this bow segment, which is kind of what you're seeing around the Lone Star State, that helps to drive warmth and to dry weather into our area. Now, we are tracking a good bit of clouds out there. A few little peaks of blue are trying to sneak through, but we will be tracking a cloudy morning here in East Texas. Temperatures are currently sitting in the upper 70s, but again, I think that we'll make it to the 80s in the next 7 or so minutes. Over the next several hours, temperatures continue to rise. We are set to make it into the 90s this afternoon across some of our East Texas cities. Cooler up north, but in deep East Texas, we could see 93. That's for Nacogdoches. Lufkin is up to around 94 as well. 90 degrees in Tyler. Longview is holding on to the clouds just a bit longer, so you may stay a few degrees cooler out there. And along I-30, I have us getting up to around 89. That's for Mount Pleasant, and 88 degrees in Sulphur Springs. But you know, it is East Texas, and we are tracking quite a bit of humidity. You'll feel that stickiness in the air when you step out the door. That means it's going to feel significantly warmer. We could feel in the triple digits in the Rose City. Lufkin, Crockett, Groveton, once again, feeling in the triple digits during the peak heat of this afternoon. But across the board, it is feeling warmer than the actual air temperature. And that's because of the significant amount of humidity that's in our air. This is a check of our dew points. So the higher the dew point, the more humid it is. And right now our dew points are in the 70s. That is basically summer level humidity. It's unpleasant outside. It's one of those days when you open the door, you kind of get hit with that wall of mugginess. So I'd recommend packing on an extra layer of hairspray that will help keep the frizz down. And of course, just staying prepared for all of that sticky weather outside. Now, the humidity will make it feel warmer during the day, but it also will keep it warmer at night. Humidity kind of acts as a cushion and keeps our temperatures from falling too far. I think we'll only make it down to 72 in Tyler, 73 in Henderson and in Carthage, 72 in St. Augustine as well. Some clouds building in. Overall, a very pleasant evening. So if you were planning on having any late night dinners, it'd be a great day to eat on the patio. It may just be a little bit warm. Alrighty, high pressure in control of our weather forecast today, and really over the next few days. But it may break down enough and move off to the east that by the weekend, we could see some cooler air and some storms make it into East Texas. Here's a look at your rain chances. Today I have us staying dry, but rain chances climb up to about a 20% chance tomorrow. The bigger days to watch out for, though, are Saturday and Monday. A 40% chance of rain Saturday, and that climbs to a 50% shot on Tuesday. Let me walk you through future skycast. Friday, we'll wake up to lots of clouds, lots of gloom. It's going to be kind of a dreary morning. But by the time we get to the sunset hour, if not a little bit later, thunderstorms begin to fire up towards central Texas. That's going to try to make its way to our westernmost cities. But a lot of those storms are going to fall apart before they really make it to Jacksonville, Nacogdoches, or even Henderson. All right, fast forward to Saturday. Most of us will stay dry for the majority of the day. But by the time we hit the afternoon, a little complex of showers and thunderstorms will roll in from the west. This will mainly impact the Dallas area. We'll see some gusty winds out there, some hail, some heavy downpours, you name it. It's going to be a typical summer-like thunderstorm complex. It's going to try to make it to East Texas. Now, as it crosses the Piney Woods, it again is going to lose some steam and fall apart. That's just because it's coming in right after sunset, so we'll start to see some of that storm energy get lost. But it still could pack a bit of a punch. I am tracking some gusty winds as well as hail. All right, a level 1 risk of severe weather. That's for Friday for all the areas highlighted in green on your screen. Anything that comes through is very isolated. That upgrades to a level 2 for a few of our East Texas areas. That's out toward Canton and Emory, as well as areas along I-30. Back in the Dallas area, we are still tracking that level 2 risk of severe weather once again on Saturday. The biggest impacts to us, I think, are going to be gusty winds as well as some hail. So just make sure that you are staying prepared. Wind gusts could be anywhere between 40 to about 60 miles per hour. If you do reach that 60 mile per hour threshold, that qualifies the storm as severe. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. Hail is going to be an issue as well. I would say that's a bigger issue on Saturday evening. So I would just make sure that you park your vehicle indoors because a lot of this is coming through after 10 p.m. All right, but you're probably thinking, hail. How do we get hail during the summer? Because hail is formed out of ice stones. Well, let me explain. If you go inside the top of a thunderstorm, there's a big updraft, and that's driven a lot of times by heat. We have more heat in the summer. That means we have more storm energy and gustier updrafts. And what that's going to do is it's going to pick up a few of the raindrops that are falling, and it's going to throw them back up into the cloud. That means that it's going above and below the freezing level while it's still inside that thunderstorm cloud. And each time it goes above and below the freezing level, an additional layer of ice gets formed around the core of that hailstone. So it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually, once it gets big enough, it's going to have enough gravity that it could fall back down to the ground and kind of escape that updraft. Now, it will melt a little as it passes through the rest of the atmosphere, but due to the heat and the intensity of those updrafts, that's why we start to see more hail, especially in the summertime. All right, but we certainly will see hail as we get into the middle of next week. We're already tracking a 15% risk of severe weather on Tuesday. That's for areas along and north of I-20, as well as areas that are in the Midwest. Everything that's shaded in yellow on your screen is under a 15% risk of severe weather on Tuesday. So we're giving you about 6 days lead time up to that. Now, here in East Texas, what I'm expecting, once again, gusty winds and hail. Here's your future skycast. Clouds as we get started next week, maybe a little bit gloomy, harder to wake up on Monday. We may even squeeze out a shower or two, but I'm not tracking anything widespread. That becomes more widespread, though, on Tuesday. Gusty winds, we have a little front that's going to try to push through. Again, gusty winds and hail are the thing to watch out for. We could get some pretty heavy downpours as well, so just make sure that you are staying cautious and, of course, never driving into floodwaters. That eventually passes off to the east, but we still could deal with some showers and thunderstorms, especially in deep East Texas. That's happening on Wednesday. Now, once it's all said and done, rain totals are really showing up and showing out, especially for the I-20 corridor. Up on I-30, that's where we could see up to 2 inches of rain over the next 7 days. Along I-20, things come down a little bit. For everything that you're seeing in blue, I'm expecting between ½ an inch of rain to about 1.25 inches of rainfall to come through. Deep East Texas is staying significantly drier, but you still could see some heavy downpours come through. just not quite as widespread as what we're seeing for areas along and north of I-20. All right, here are the next 7 days for you. Temperatures will climb into the 90s this afternoon. We're looking at 90 degrees here in Tyler, 91. A few areas in Deep East Texas could even make it up to around 93 or 94, so we are feeling the warmth. Remember, when you throw the humidity on top of it, it will likely be in the triple digits as well. We'll keep things warm all the way through the weekend, but rain chances begin to pick up. Then our temperatures could fall just enough that we make it back into the 80s. Now we're only talking 89 degrees, so that's not going to necessarily make it feel cool, but hey, it is something. Now a lot of those thunderstorms that we're seeing on Saturday are set to come in sometime after sunset. So any Saturday morning plans that you have will most likely be good to go, if not a little bit cloudy. We climb back up to the 90s Tuesday, and we're going to keep that all the way through the beginning and middle of next week. By Tuesday, rain chances pick up enough that we could see some strong to severe thunderstorms coming in, and that's going to usher in a wave of cooler air that will push us back into the mid-80s by Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us for the CBS 19 Plus live stream. We hope you have a fantastic day and enjoy the rest of your Thursday.